Howdy, welcome back to Wobble Enjoy Sports. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider to like the content and subscribe to the channel. But if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. Last weekend, I only got one wrong. Guess who it was? Both in the men's and women's. Round number 3 for the 2025 NRLW season starts on Saturday from 12:45 from Camber Stadium, or GIO Stadium, I should say. It's the Canberra Raiders hosting the Paramata Eels. On Sportsbet, the Eels are outsiders at $2.07. The Raiders, they are $1.79. There are huge changes for both of these sides, or primarily for the Raiders. For the Raiders, Elise Simpson is at fullback. Bartlett, Tufunga, Robbins, Retty and Waterman. That rounds out the back five, with Georgia Thomas and Temera being the halves pairing. For the forward pack, Saunders, Tamara, Hollyman. Back row, Soliola, Dodd and Taufa. Interchange is Boyle, Kemp, Preston, Jordan Preston, and Tatiana Finau. And we've also got Amelia Pasacala as well. That is 18th lady for the Canberra Raiders. For the Paramata Eels here, it looks like that Mahalia Murphy is sitting as 18th lady for the Paramata Eels. There's been a couple of changes in the team, but by and large, it looks like that they are unchanged after last weekend's effort against the Warriors. That was a very, very tough game for the Paramata Eels. I did tip the Warriors, being that it was their first game at home. So Paramata Eels, they learnt that, the Warriors are not one to be trifled with, especially at Go Media Stadium. For the Canberra Raiders, this seriously disappointing alarm bells are ringing big time for the Canberra Raiders after their first couple of games, especially defensively. The Sharkies went down to Canberra and battered them. Unfortunately, it's still a really, really good forward pack for them. And I think they are missing a little bit of Ash Quinlan, who has started beautifully for the Bulldogs. I think they are missing a bit of Ash Quinlan as well. Adapi Nichols as well, they're missing her. So, yeah, their back line just lost a couple of key pieces, hasn't it, over the off-season. They've started slowly. It's something like the Raiders haven't won a home game in 8 attempts. That's, whoa, they got to rectify that very, very quickly. Will they do that this weekend? I don't think so. I think whilst it was a loss, I think it was a great lesson for the Paramata Eels, who, they were kept to nil. But yeah, I think they'll get back on track. The Paramata Eels this weekend, I think they'll go down to Canberra and I think they'll win 1-12 in a close one. From Accor Stadium at 3:15 in the afternoon, it is the Bulldogs hosting the Dragons. Bulldogs $1.54. The Dragons, they are $2.50. There are changes. A big one here for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Tiakaranga Katoa is out to suspension because she took on Jaitai Faifua, and Faifua got under her skin enough to make Tiakaranga Katoa clock one off. I think that's what happened. So then the forward pack is Hope Millard and Tegan Dimmick, Tawaniai, Monshal and Wheeler. That is the back row. The interchange for the Bulldogs is Wilson, Uilu, Muru and Hopawati. Going into the reserves now, Fotu Mawala is hanging around there as well. And the back line as well I should go through is, it's unchanged with Andy Robinson at fullback. She's a sneaky chance for Dally M fullback of the year based off of her first 2 games of the season. Or it could be her opponent this weekend. Tegan Berry is at fullback for the Dragons. Vella, Bostock, Law and Brown, Ray and McGregor. It's a very underrated back line. It's a good-looking one. The forward pack is Mulhall, Hopkins and Tapsell, Costa, Basham and Southwell. And the interchange is Nita, Maynard, Perrin, Lendl, Tawanei and Ingram. Oh, so we've got the Tawanei sisters colliding this weekend. Okay, cool. That's something to look forward to. Hard game to try and tip this one. Dragons, just a fraction disappointing. They got a really nice win against the Raiders and then sort of got back down to earth against the Sydney Roosters last weekend. So they've sort of been centred a little bit, which does make them dangerous coming into this game. The Bulldogs last weekend against the Tigers, they didn't control the ball well enough throughout periods, and they faded bad defensively. I know the Tigers, scored 2 tries, but 8 points in total. But the Bulldogs did fade pretty badly with about 15 minutes or 10 minutes to go against the West Tigers. But they're a smash mouth team. They are a quality team. I think I give the Dragons a massive hope. I kind of want to go the Dragons in this game. It's such a good battle of the halves as well. Quinlan and Preston versus Ray and McGregor. You got Andy Robinson versus Tegan Berry. Oh man, this shapes up as an absolute belter, actually, doesn't it? Yeah, this looks like a really, really good game. Gee whiz. You know what? They didn't let me down the first time, so I'm going to give it to them the second time. I'm going to say that the Dragons can go to a core and give the Bulldogs their first loss in NRLW history. There's just something telling me about the Dragons like it did back in round number 1, and the Dragons didn't let me down on that occasion. I'm going to go the Dragons on this occasion, especially that Tiakaranga Katoa is out for the Bulldogs, who has been utterly insane in her form over the first fortnight of the competition. But it won't be easy, but I'm going to go the Dragons to win this game 1-12. And the main event on Saturday starts at 5:15 from Shark Park. It's the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks hosting the North Queensland Cowboys. Sharkies, they are $1.31. The Cowboys are out to $3.50. Oh, that's bloody rude. All right, so we've got Anessa Biddle, who is out for the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. That is a big out, by the way. That is due to a suspension. And then coming in for her in at centre, scrolling up, so we've got Grace Lee Weeks, who is playing at centre in favour of Anessa Biddle, for Anessa Biddle, I should just say. And then the interchange for them, Jadika Tafua, Tucker Patola, Stephanie Faulkner, and arguably one of the more informed players in the NRLW over the first fortnight is Nakia Davis-Welsh. She's been absolutely sensational in the first fortnight for the Sharkies, and genuinely is up there as one of the more informed players of the competition for 2025. Going into the North Queensland Cowboys now, and they are once again unchanged. So on the reserves, you've still got China Palata. Well, not still. China Palata has been named for the first time this year. Lily Dick, Tallulah Tillett. But it is the same side for the opening 3 weeks of the competition. North Queensland got brought back down to earth themselves last weekend against the Newcastle Knights. They had chances to ice opportunities, but there was just a mixture of drop ball and or the Newcastle Knights defensive resolve. This team on paper, I think, stacks up nicely against the Sharkies, but the Sharkies, they found form, but that was against the Raiders, and the Raiders defensively haven't been there. They have not been operational at all in 2025, so maybe that just brings them back down to the level. And the Cowboys, that was a punch to the face that maybe that they needed to wake things up. So I'm looking forward to this contest. I'm looking forward to it. So North Queensland, this is their first away game for 2025, and it's the second time that they're taking on the Sharks at Shark Park as well in their history. So get down there, ladies, and wrangle in the victory. North Queensland, 13 plus this Saturday. Moving into the Sunday games, and game number 1 emanates from Leichhardt Oval, 11:50 in the morning. The West Tigers host the Gold Coast Titans. Tigers are outsiders at $2.15. The Gold Coast Titans, they are $1.71 favourites. For this contest, Jessica Reeves is out due to a concussion. That sucks. That really does suck. And the rest of the back line here, Faifua, Te, Tamaki, Rogan, Bass and Turnbull. The forward pack is still unchanged, and I've got to give a shout out to Montana Clifford, who I thought worked her ass off this past Thursday night. The interchange is Saville, Ranky, Berryman, Duff and Hakau, and then shifting into the Gold Coast Titans now. So Jamie Chapman is back in action, in at fullback. Gray, Serena Masanga, Lola Sio and Patston, Pele Resabale and Lauren Brown. You've got Natasha Penatani and Colch. Elliston in the front row, Lily Rose Colch, or Colk, sorry for the pronunciation, sorry about that. She plays hooker. And then Jasmine Solia, Shaylee Bent and Sienna Lafipo, the interchange. The back row. The interchange for them is Montgomery, Clark, Pakulis, and Dakota Thompson. Wow, so there are some players out. Georgia Hale, Arakua is out for the Titans. Talia Fuimaono has been dropped to jersey number 20. You've got young prospect Cheyenne McGlone at jersey number 18. So a couple of droppings, and then Georgia Hale is out for the Titans. Oh, gee whiz. I do love that centre, the Titans centre, Serena Masanga. I thought she killed it in 2024 last season. If there's any time to nab a victory against the Titans, it's now for the West Tigers. I think they've, even though Jess Elliston is putting a hand up for maybe the prop of the season, I do think that the forward pack is better for the West Tigers. Any team that has got Jamie Chapman in it is always going to be a shot, especially with Lauren Brown. But I think Jatai Faifua has been very plucky over the opening fortnight of the season. I'm really, really happy about her form. I don't know if she would be, but I think she's done really well in the first couple of weeks. That interchange is very, very different. That back line as well for the Titans. I don't know if they can show up defensively. If Kezi Apps, and why couldn't she inspire her team? If Apps can give them a red hot rev up just before kickoff, I think the Tigers can do it. And it's kind of strange that Titans are sort of favourites by that margin as well, when you consider that Arakua and Georgia Hale and Fuimai Ono have been dropped and or injured. So I'm going to go the West Tigers to get the upset here, 1-12. And the second game on Sunday is the biggest game of the NRLW season for 2025. This is the game of the weekend. Brisbane Broncos versus the Sydney Roosters. It is first versus second from Totally Workwear Stadium. The Broncos come into the contest as the favourites. Pretty heavy favourites as well for a first versus second contest. $1.54. The Roosters, they are $2.50. Let's just go through every single name on this matchup, or for this matchup. So at fullback for the Brisbane Broncos, it is Upton. The wingers, Kerry Johnson and Hayley Maddock. Hufanga and Robinson are the centres. Gail Broughton and Brigginshaw are the halves. Joseph, Ferguson and Lenarduzzi. The front row, the back row is Tara McGrath-West, Teitzel and Spreadborough. The interchange is Brill, Dam, Lafayette and Sawaso. And then shifting into the Sydney Roosters now, Bridie Parker is at fullback. Naividi and Wood, they are the wingers. And then Surgis and Kelly are the centres. The halves pairing is Baxter and Kelleher. The forward pack, Poole, Davis and Butler. The back row, Nasio, Strange and Kernick. The interchange, Burton, Carlisle, Amber Hall and Lopamua. And just looking into the reserves here for both of these teams, Aneta Claudia Nuasala could be a late inclusion here for the Brisbane Broncos. The Broncos did things pretty easily against the Gold Coast Titans last weekend, winning 44 points to 4. And then for the Sydney Roosters, tough encounter against the Dragons, but getting a 13 plus points victory, 24 points to 10, I think it was, for the Sydney Roosters. The Roosters, I think they're still just a little bit. They're waiting for a couple of players to come back. I think they're still down a couple of players here, but they've done well to get the first 2 wins of the season. Broncos, they're in cruise control at the moment. The Hooves of Doom are in cruise control, and it's bloody scary. They are the premiership favourites for sure. I don't think they should be as heavily favoured as what they are in this game at $1.50 to the Roosters $2.50, because they are the champions after all, the Roosters. But yeah, at Totally Workwear, they are a completely different proposition for teams. So yeah, I'll back the Brisbane Broncos to win this game 1-12 in a beauty. And finally, at 6:15 on Sunday evening, it's the Newcastle Knights versus the New Zealand Warriors for the first time ever in the NRLW. The Newcastle Knights, they are $1.35. The Warriors, they are $3.25. And this is the Ron Griffiths Cup. Ron Griffiths, who took the Newcastle Knights to back-to-back premierships as coach, comes back as the New Zealand Warriors coach into McDonald Jones Stadium this Sunday evening. The team lists for the Newcastle Knights, I think looking at it, there are no outs here for the Newcastle Knights. There's no real changes there after they got a very convincing victory against the North Queensland Cowboys last Saturday. And then for the New Zealand Warriors here, it looks like it is an unchanged lineup there for the Warriors. So just the one change there for the Newcastle Knights is Lillian White is out, and Tess Staines comes in. Warriors will be injected with a truckload of confidence after keeping Paramata to 0, winning tough, gritty, and that's what you got to be against this Newcastle Knights. I'm sure Ron Griffiths has got a hell of an ambush planned for his ex-team. This really is all about Ron Griffiths, the New Zealand Warriors coach, in my opinion. It just depends if the Warriors can travel over for the second time in 2025 and put in a much better performance, because they got dudded by taking on the Roosters in game number 1. I don't think that should have happened for a Warriors team that were debuting so much talent. And now they've got to take on the Newcastle Knights, who, one of the best teams in NRLW history. Obviously a different version this year. I think I'm going to play it safe on this one. There is some value there about the Warriors, who just have the unpredictable factor behind them, raging behind them. But I'm just going to play it safe here and say the Newcastle Knights win, but only just. There is a massive storm coming from the New Zealand Warriors this weekend. Howdy guys, thank you very much for your continuous support. I hope you enjoyed that video. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you. Take care. Adios.